Speed's what we need. We need greasy, fast speed.
What's good? Y'all know what it is, man. If y'all don't, y'all about to find out. Welcome to the first ever podcast show, and we are the Rambling Mob. I'm David.
And this is Brian.
Yeah, we formerly of Style and Grace, local rap group. Man, now we here about to talk about sports, man. This, hip hop, boxing, this whole show's about
life in general.
Exactly. Life in general, life in sports, what our opinions are, what we agree with, what we don't. Hopefully it's fun, man. And right around the corner, actually tomorrow, Canelo's gonna fight.
Not tomorrow. Oh yeah. Well, once this airs, it'll be tomorrow.
It's gonna be tomorrow. Canelo's gonna fight Billy Joe Saunders.
Slay that ass.
Yeah.
Knock his ass out within 9 rounds.
Exactly. But before we go into that, that's gonna be pretty much the bulk of this show, just because it's gonna be the fight that's actually coming up. I want to recap this Andy Ruiz fight, man, with Ruiz Arreola. Tough, competitive fight. I think Ruiz Arreola, he gave him some. He put it on him, man. I'm not gonna lie. They kind of messed him up on the judging. They kind of shorted him a little bit, but I think Andy Ruiz did what he did. Came out with the dub. And what's your thoughts, B?
My thoughts are Andy Ruiz. He did better towards the end of the fight. The knockdown, and I'll put that in quotes, I think he was off balance. But in the third round, he did get caught good, flush. He almost touched the canvas again, but he caught himself. But I think the judges really did fuck up by not giving Arreola more rounds than he should have gotten. But, that's how fucking boxing is nowadays. Bunch of bullshit. So hopefully, Saturday, whenever Canelo fights, I don't think it'll go to the judges' scorecard anyway, but if it does, I hope we get a fair fight. Even though I'm a Canelo fan, I hope we get a good scorecard if Billy Joe does pull out some type of miracle.
and that's one thing, man. We have our, we're at the end of the day, we're fans of all these fighters, of sports teams and things like that. We're gonna be 100% non-biased for sure. We're gonna try to come with the best, opinions. Yeah, absolutely. Of what these fighters or what these teams or whatever they have going for them. We want to bring up the most non-biased kind of thing, but opinions. But speaking on the Andy Ruiz, because he won, who do you think is the best next opponent for him? Because, we got the Joshua Fury fight that supposedly it's gonna happen, but there's no date set. That's the number one fight in the heavyweight division. There's not that much,
They're the only two with titles.
Yeah, exactly. But there's not that much pizzazz, and there's nothing special or nothing exciting beyond the top 4, maybe 5 fighters in that division. And Andy Ruiz is actually not even in the top 5, apparently. Maybe after this Ruiz Arreola, they probably bump him up a little bit, but I don't know. As far as ESPN is concerned, he's ranked 6th.
And who's the top 5?
They got Tyson Fury. He's the WBC champ. They got him number 1. They got Joshua, who's WBO, IBF, and WBA champ. They got him 2. They got Wilder 3. They got Usyk 4, and they got the WBC interim champ Dylan White at number 5, and then Andy Ruiz comes in at 6. There's also Trevor Bryan. He's a WBA regular champ, but
Well, I don't believe. I don't agree with that list because Usyk, he hasn't. However the fuck pronounce his last name.
Yeah,
he hasn't really done much in the heavyweight division. I believe he's only had like 2 or 3 fights. But he has a fight coming up against. I can't even remember his name off the top of my head right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. They actually currently have him. I think why they have him at 4, where he's tied with 4th on this list with Dylan White, because he's undefeated. He's 18-0.
Yeah, but he came from the cruiserweight division.
Right. His last win was a unanimous decision win on October 31st against Derek Chisora.
Yeah.
Or whatever his name is.
But with Dylan White, he just got knocked the fuck out before his last fight that he just had. He just rematched with the dude that he got knocked out by. Okay,
so he fought Povetkin twice.
Yeah.
Okay, so he just TKO'd Povetkin in the 4th on March 27th. Mm-hmm. So
I actually won money off that.
So I mean, with that all being said, man, who do you think is, besides the Joshua Fury fight? I mean, it could be the winner of that fight. But who do you think's best upcoming for Andy Ruiz?
I would like to see Ruiz fight Ortiz, Luis Ortiz, or Luis Ortiz, however you pronounce it. I'm tongue twisted right now. Or Wilder. I'd like to see him fight either one of those.
I want to see Wilder fight again. I want to see him. I really feel like they kind of gave him that championship. Not really gave him. He knocked people out, but I mean, it's kind of hard. The heavyweight division is not really stacked, so it's kind of hard to, to make a name for yourself unless you're fighting nothing but top guys. But I think at this point, man, the top guys, they need to fight the top guys at this point going forward, and have these other guys kind of battle it out below, and best man kind of gets jumped up and jumped up into the mix, that top 5 mix, top 4 mix, whatever. But that's I would like Ruiz also to fight Wilder. Ortiz would be a interesting matchup. But yeah, Ruiz, Wilder for me. I think that's who it is.
Who wins, in your opinion?
I don't know.
I can tell you mine. If Ruiz could get around his around Wilder's power, then it'll be a bad night for Wilder again. Just because, he doesn't have any boxing abilities. He has boxing abilities, let me take that back, but very slim. He's not that great of a boxer. I mean, all he has is power, and like I said, once you get past that power, then shit, that's it.
Yeah, that's true.
And you've seen that with Tyson Fury. He beat his ass 2 times.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, I do agree with what you're saying. It's really going to come down to it, man. I don't really see that much technical aspects when Wilder fights. He depends heavily on his power, mainly one punch.
Yeah.
But that one punch is devastating. It is, if he connects. That Fury fight, man, both Fury took a pounding and he just stood up and kept it and ate it.
That motherfucker got up like the Undertaker.
yeah.
Buried alive and shit.
Yes, he did, man. He did. So yeah, man, I think Andy Ruiz pulls that out. Just because I think he's more of a technical fighter, and man, he has heart, man. That guy has heart.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, man, I really want to go into this next segment, man. I really want to go into this Canelo fight, man. This Canelo fight with Billy Joe Saunders. You're the more boxing expert in this kind of duo, this show.
All round boxing.
Yes, of course. Yeah, they are
live in the flesh
sponsoring this. And they also don't you have some more sponsorship going down right now?
Eventually we will, not right now.
Okay,
but we will.
Do you want to speak on that now, or you want to kind of wait? We'll just wait. Okay, I respect that. I respect that. All right, well, let's go into this Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders, man. They fight tomorrow, May 8th. What do you, man? Tell me what's up, man. What do you see? Of course, I don't. Personally, I have my opinions. I did put out a question out there, and I kind of gave everybody who watched, who listened, who saw it, pretty much who I think is, the best fighter, and I think every single division right now. I don't think there's anybody in any division that matches what this guy's potential is, or what it could be, or what he's doing now. But we'll get into
for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into what I think here in a minute. But as far as what you think about this fight, man, what do you think the pros and cons? The keys of the fight, man. Who do you think is going to win on this Canelo and Saunders fight?
I think Canelo wins by a knockout within 9 rounds.
Okay, you want to put 9 rounds? Okay.
Within 9 rounds.
Oh, within 9 rounds. Okay.
Yeah. Within 9 rounds, either a fucking devastating body shot or he'll get knocked out like Amir Khan did.
Glass jaw Khan.
Glass jaw Khan.
Okay, and this is to unify the WBC, WBA, and WBO belts. Caleb Plant is the IBF title holder.
Yeah.
He is coming off of a win against Truax on January 30th.
Mm-hmm.
He is undefeated at 21-0. With Canelo and Saunders fighting, you seem to think that it's going to be a knockout. Billy Joe Saunders just a little bit maybe out of his league. As far as ESPN is concerned, he is the ranked 5th fighter in this super middleweight division, the 168-pound division. He is coming off of a unanimous decision win against Martin Murray, and that was on December 4th. He is 30-0, so he is also undefeated. With that being said, because this fight's going to happen tomorrow, you think Canelo's going to win. So because you think Canelo's going to win, well, first of all, if Billy Joe Saunders wins, let's just say that. Let's just kind of make it for the conversation. If Billy Joe Saunders wins, who do you think he should fight next to help him kind of get up there and be, I mean, do you think if either fighter wins, Caleb Plant has to be the number 2, or, on the list, David Benavidez is right there. He's 24-0. He's getting a lot of, praise. Everybody thinks that he's going to be the next up-and-comer to challenge for these titles. Or do you think it's somewhere, in another division, somebody in the top 10 in that super middleweight class? What do you think?
If Billy Joe does win on Saturday, I think obviously a rematch would happen. But if it doesn't, then I think he would need to fight Caleb Plant first, just so he could get all the titles, and then after that, go after a David Benavidez or whatever. 168, that's a stacked division, I think so. David Benavidez, then you got Edgar Berlanga. He's an up and comer. I want to see him against somebody that actually could. Well, I take that back. He went up against somebody that could take his power. He still knocked him down and everything, but he didn't knock him out in the first round like he's been doing his last 16 opponents before this one. So I would like to see him step up as well. But if Billy Joe Saunders does win, like I said, either a rematch or the fight with Caleb Plant, just so they could do it for all titles.
So Caleb Plant, let's speak on him. He's coming off a unanimous decision win against Truax again on January 30th. I'm not sure. Does he have a fight coming up?
No, he said he was going to wait until September because that's whenever the Canelo fight's supposed to happen. Okay. But I think that's a mistake because he could have obviously fought, after his fight. I don't remember when his fight was. Apparently he hurt his hand or some bullshit like that. But I think he could have fought again just because if he does fight Canelo and then he does lose, then he could be like, oh, well, I was inactive for this amount of time. Because, people will throw that shit around.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think Caleb Plant is actually a really, really good fighter. I really do think he is.
He's all right.
I really do think he is. I don't think he's like on the level of a Canelo. But, and this is not being biased. I just see the body of work of what Canelo does, how he fights, even if it's sometimes not flashy, even if he goes the distance, man, he is dominating every fighter he fights. I don't see anybody, taking him down right now, man. He's at the peak of his, he's at the the top of the mountaintop, man.
He gets better every single fight.
Absolutely, he really, really does.
And what I think is going to happen Saturday, whenever he fights Billy Joe, people will say, "Oh, well, he struggles against southpaws. He struggles against tricky southpaws." And then they bring up Mayweather, even though he wasn't a southpaw. Well, he was struggling against Mayweather. He was struggling against Austin Trout. He was struggling against Lara. Then they're like, well, what's he going to do against Billy Joe Saunders? I guarantee you Saturday he's going to show that he's actually improved against southpaws, and he's going to fucking show why he's the best. And then Caleb Plant that's not even a real test. In my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a good opinion. Speaking of Lara, though.
The American Dream.
What do you think about his mix in this super middleweight kind of contendership? Right now, he's
in 160. So
yes, he is. He is. Yeah, he is in 160. He is that middleweight division.
He just fought on Saturday too.
Yeah. Who do you fight?
I don't know his last name. I can't pronounce it.
Okay,
but he won by first round knockout.
Okay, yeah, he is currently.
And I won money off that too.
Yeah, he is currently the WBA regular junior middleweight champion, I believe. And that belt is actually held by Jermell Charlo. He is 34-1. What do you think about maybe possibly one of these 160 guys, the Jermell Charlos, the Andrades, the WBA champion Ryota Murata, or Jaime Munguia actually jumping up to 168 and challenging, I think who is the pound for pound king fighter right now, and that's Canelo. What do you think about that? Or do you think maybe a trilogy with Triple G's around the corner? A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do. What do you think, man?
Charlo against Canelo, I would like to see that just so he could shut up the haters because.
And that's Jermall Charlo, the undefeated fighter.
Yeah, I would like to see him against Canelo. I think he loses. To me, his brother's doing a lot more than he is, just because his brother's actually trying to fight, world champions.
Yeah,
right now, he has almost all the belts, and whenever they fight, and I believe it's June, I believe he's gonna beat the dude. So, but as far as Big Charlo goes, I would like to see him fight Andrade, Triple G. Triple G, he's already on his last leg, I think. Triple G's not as dangerous as he was, but then again, Triple G also fought a bunch of nobodies before he fought Canelo. If you look at his record, it's really a bunch of I'm not gonna say bums just because they're not bums.
No, I want to, and I'm glad you actually said that. Like, we've had multiple conversations, me and you, about the type of talent a lot of these divisions have. Mm-hmm. Of course, we believe that 147 is probably one of the stackest. It's one of the most stacked divisions in boxing right now. That has to be a whole nother segment, a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole episode, right?
Yeah,
there.
That's a whole episode.
That and 130 and 135.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, but with Triple G, just like you said, he didn't really fight anybody. Besides these other guys that are pretty much up-and-coming fighters, even though they're ranked high in that division, Triple G, man, he fought what was in that division, pretty much. I mean, there was really nothing in that middleweight division when Triple G got there. When Triple G reigned king, when he reigned in that division, there was really nobody else in that division. Then you got the Charlos coming up, like you said, Andrade, Murata, Munguia, all these guys coming up.
I would like to see Canelo and Munguia, just because I'm not too fond of Munguia. To me,
all hype. I
think he's all hype. I think he gets hit way too much, and I believe Triple G could actually knock him out. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I mean,
then I also think Munguia's next fight, not his next fight, but if he were to fight a top competitor, he's going to get knocked out or on points.
Okay. He does have a fight coming up on June 19th against, I'm going to butcher this name, man. It's Maciej Silvecki.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
His name.
Yeah. Well, on that same on that same card, man, you do got the WBC champ, middleweight champ, Jermell Charlo. He is fighting Juan Macias Montiel.
That's not on the same card.
Well, they're fighting on the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Munguia's on the Zone, and the Charlos are on PBC.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah, they're fighting on the same day. So, do you think Montiel will be a challenge to Charlo? You think Charlo will win that easily?
No, that's an easy fight.
Okay.
That's at 160. That's an easy fight. Like I said, his brother's doing a lot more, or he's fighting a lot better opponents than his brother is. His brother's really just, I think he's scared to lose his O. That's what I think.
So, is he a Mayweather? That's a whole other conversation as well, man.
We got to put respect on Mayweather.
Of course, man. Of course.
Even though I'm not a Mayweather fan, but still.
I am a Mayweather fan, man. I think Mayweather, besides these last couple of fights, man, and what he's about to do with this guy we don't want to speak on today, or probably ever. Man, I'm a huge fan of Mayweather. I think he's one of the smartest fighters to ever fight in the game. His skill level is elite. I think he fought smart when he fought Canelo early, just because I think he saw him a fresh pup and he took advantage of that, and that's smart on his point.
And Canelo took advantage of the loss because he's gotten better ever since that fight.
Yeah, he's been on a roll every single fight after that. He's been dominating everybody. Again, like I said, man, I think maybe the only person that would give, and I know you're going to completely disagree with me, and I'm only going to say it just because of the size that he has, the reach. I don't think he's smart enough right now, as far as boxing is concerned, to give him any kind of major, competition. But that has to be Benavidez, only because he's so long. He has power, but I think he's still, way behind the ears, man. He's not ready yet. But, if David Benavidez goes against these other top guys and he starts to learn and he proves that he's better every fight, just like Canelo's been doing, do you truly think that maybe Benavidez will be something that challenges Canelo? Just because if you don't think anybody in the middleweight division, there has to be somebody that can challenge him. He's my guy that I think that eventually he will be able to challenge Canelo.
Eventually, yes. But, Canelo's talked about after fighting Saunders, once he beats him, because I'm going to go ahead and say he's beating him. Yeah. Once he beats Caleb Plant, because for sure he's going to beat Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant, he's good, but he ain't got shit on Canelo. He said he wants to fight Charlo. He said he wants to fight David Benavidez. So that's fluctuating between 160 and 168, but he said he's staying at 168. But David Benavidez right now, if he were to fight him after September, I say Canelo beats him. And pretty much, he beats him pretty much like Mayweather beat Canelo, in my opinion.
Well, since we're talking about Benavidez, he's actually fighting, I believe, August 28th against... another name I will butcher, man. It's Jose Uzcategui.
I'm looking.
I have no idea, man. I don't know. But Uzcategui is actually coming off a unanimous decision loss to Lionel Thompson. Do you think that's actually a step up?
No.
In competition for Benavidez?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Benavidez will stop him as well.
And I'm glad we're actually having a boxing conversation, man, because you know way more about boxing than I do. I'm still a fan. We could talk about old school boxing all day, and I can kind of give you, what you'll give with the fighters today, better opinions, better analysis and things like that. But what do you think is the problem with boxing when it comes to scheduling these fights against these top fighters? I understand there were different promotional companies and things like this. Is it all about money when it comes to these fights, man? Like, what is it?
I think right now it's the whole pandemic thing. Just because, speaking of that, it's like the Bud Crawford and Spence fight. I do want that fight to happen, but Bud Crawford keeps saying that the fight he's not interested in the fight anymore because of the whole money thing. But in that aspect, speaking about the money, I do think Bud Crawford should take the less amount of money just because, for one, Spence brings more people, and for two, he has 2 belts. Yep. Bud just has 1.
Yep.
And then at that point, if Spence fights, what's his name, Ugas, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, then that'll make 3 belts. So then at that point, it's like, you got to go off of what I'm saying. Like, because, motherfucker, I'm running shit around here.
Yeah,
I got 3 belts, you got 1 belt.
Yeah.
You can't speak too much.
I mean, and I totally agree with that, man. If you're like Mayweather says, man, you're alpha. If you're alpha in that fight, man, you have to. I mean, if you're not the alpha in that fight, man, you got to kind of back down a little bit, man. You have to understand where your place is in that fight.
Yeah.
You know, come in, be that underdog, man, and knock off the top dog, man. That's the mentality you should have. Not where we're coming in equal because we're on the same, we're fighting on the same card, we're in the same ring together. Like, come on, man. Like, you have to know your place, and I think that's what kind of gets everybody, their vision's blurred a little bit, man, because not everybody's on the same tier level, and this is across any sport. But a lot of these guys that are on these under positions, man, the lower positions, they think that they can actually compete with these top guys, and to be honest, man, they really can't.
Speaking of that, it's like one of my favorite fighters today is in the 147 division. He's actually from Grand Prairie. He's Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah.
He
Good
wants
fighter,
to fight.
man.
He wants to. Well, his last fight, he was calling out Bud Crawford. Don't get me wrong. I believe eventually Virgil Ortiz will be the top dog of 147. I don't see anybody beating him below him, like Jaron Annan's Boots. They say that he could beat him. I don't see that. Boots has good speed and shit like that, but I think Virgil Ortiz will knock him out. Not knock him out, but I think it'll be a competitive fight, and I think the victory will go towards Ortiz. But I don't think Ortiz is ready for Crawford right now. Simply because it'll be another Mayweather Canelo type situation. It's levels to this shit.
Yeah.
He's not ready for Bud. He's not ready for Spence. I mean, obviously Manny Pacquiao's in the mix, but his next fight is his last fight. He already announced it. So obviously he won't fight him. I could see, or I would like to see Virgil Ortiz versus Thurman, and I would put money on that Ortiz knocks Thurman out. And his dad told me himself, if you're going to bet on anything, bet for Virgil to knock Thurman out.
Dude, man, I'm blown away by that statement that you actually said, his dad. I actually love Virgil Ortiz, man. I think he is the next up-and-coming guy in that division, man. I think he is stellar. I think he fights with a lot of heart, man. He has power, he has technique, he has speed. I think he's really, really good, man. I think he's going to be a good fighter. Him fighting Thurman, man. Not really a big fan of Thurman.
That's the new age Mike Tyson.
Thurman.
With his list.
Oh, yeah, man. Don't even get. But, most people don't know shit about boxing, man. Honestly, like real shit. No, most people don't know shit about boxing.
I get told that too. That I don't know shit about boxing.
I know you still try to, get me back. You trying to get me. You're trying to drag me to the gym, man, and train like you, man. But I can't do that, man.
Shit, we could do it at my house. I got the punch bag at the house. Let's go tomorrow morning.
Last time that happened, man, I was drunk. I almost broke my wrist.
We got punching gloves this time.
But no, man.
Boxing glove.
Yeah, man. I mean, you mentioned in that 147 division, man. That thing is stacked. Mm-hmm. That's gonna have to be a whole nother segment, man. That thing is. We could talk.
To be continued.
Yeah, absolutely, because that thing is so stacked, man.
Shit, maybe next week.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, I think that's gonna be it for the
boxing part.
Man.
But make sure you follow All Rounds Boxing on Instagram and Facebook if you want to be more up to date with boxing, as I post on there constantly.
Absolutely, man. There's merchandise. as well.
We got a 4th of July shirt coming up next.
Awesome hats, man. These things are legit, man. I'm telling you. The logo's sick.
I got the chain on, but you probably can't see it. Shout out to Panther City Jewelers. Hit them up for the custom work.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. The plug. But yeah, man, that's it, man. Canelo's gonna fight Billy Joe Saunders tomorrow, man. Don't miss it. It should be a great fight. I hope it's a great fight. Again, man, no bias, but I really truly think you're gonna see another clinic by Canelo. But that's it on that, man. Let's go ahead and go into our next segment, which is probably gonna be one of the hottest segments that we do on a weekly basis, man. And that's our hip hop segment, man. We could probably go into music, other types of music as well, but I think this is gonna be
classic rock, if anything.
Oh, of course, absolutely, of course. But the announcements were made this week, man.
Last week,
this
week. One this week, one last week.
Yes, absolutely, man. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm gonna let you go in. I'm gonna let you take this one, man. I mean, you know what it is, man. You a hip hop head, man. Let's go ahead and let's hear what these announcements are. Man.
All right,
let's hear what it is.
So one of the announcements, or the announcement last week, was Top Dog from Top Dog Entertainment tweeted out saying the wait is over. That's it. And then he gave us the date, 5/7/2021. Is it gonna be a single? Is it gonna be an album? If it's going to be an album, who's it going to be from? Is it going to be from Kendrick? Is it going to be from Schoolboy? Is it going to be from Absol? J-Rock, SZA, Isaiah Rashad? Or are they going to announce...
That camp is brutal, man.
Or are they going to announce another member? Or are they going to do a compilation album? Or a Black Hippie album? To me, that's like the new age Death Row without the bullshit. Because back in the day, Death Row was fucking shit.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, you talk about, all these super teams they're making in the NBA.
Super team, that's a super group right there. Just them four.
I'm telling you, man. That was back in the day, man. That's a whole other conversation about how that works, man. But with that being said, man, with that TDE announcement, man. There was a leak, a rumor, whatever you want to call it.
I think it was a picture. Dre, M, and Kendrick. I think it was a picture.
But hell, because it's a fun conversation to have, and that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about what we want to talk about, what we think that people will want to hear about, especially about something like major like this. What if Dre, and Kendrick collabed on something, man? What? I mean, of course, the hype is going to be through the roof. Expectations will be through the roof, man.
That's bars.
Oh, my God, man.
Like, you got to fucking dissect that shit, like, so much. Especially from Eminem.
Yeah, exactly.
The greatest rapper alive.
And I'm still, and this was the other day, man. I was actually looking at something, and there was a bar by Eminem, man. He said that, I don't even want to butcher his bars, but he said something about, like, the only way I would get stomped is by 40 men.
Oh, he said the only way I'll taste the defeat.
Yeah, there it is.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like that,
yeah, the only way I would taste defeat if I get stomped by 40 men.
So 80 feet.
80 feet, bro. That's crazy. That's bars for your ass, bro. Like that. Who does that shit, man?
I could think of that shit.
Put
me on.
Boy, we'll be in a whole nother. We'll be making millions in a mansion somewhere on the hills of Bel Air or some shit, man. Or Hollywood, man. But
in La Mesa.
Oh God! Shout out to La Mesa. You know what I'm saying? But no, man. That collab will be something that's monumental.
Well, Eminem and Kendrick have actually done a song before on Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP 2. Yes. I wasn't really too much of a fan of it, but it was a good song, a decent song. But what I want to hear is Eminem on some boom bap shit. If he were to go on that shit. Like, if you were to put him on a DJ Premier type shit to where he has, like the New York State of Mind on, the Nas,
absolutely.
Illmatic. If he was on that type of shit, boy, imagine how many fucking bars we would hear on that. I think that would actually make all these stupid-ass SoundCloud rappers like be like, damn, I need to step it up?
You know, man, I don't know, only because, you know, the generation now, man, like this generational rap is just
Trash.
it is, man. I can't get into it. Man, my little nephew, man, he's been trying to get me on that crap, man, and I don't know, to me, man, it's like I see it where it's coming from, and of course, me being an old head, I can't really relate. You know, and now a lot of these young rappers, they relate to this music, so it's good to them. It's great. It's good hip hop to them, because they can relate to a lot of the stuff, or they know what they're talking about. I listen to some of these rappers, man, and I don't know what the fuck they're talking about at all. So overall, my perspective of it is absolute trash. Just because if it wasn't for producers, man, none of these guys would be relevant. I don't think these producers
make these rappers.
Man, they're outstanding.
Just because of their beats.
Yes, these beats are outstanding, man.
Speaking of beats, shout out to Myron for making this intro beat for us.
Yes, man, he did it.
That shit made me want to rap over it.
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
we might, man. We might come out with a fucking rap to that.
We might come out with another album one more
Absolutely,
time.
Man. We got beats lined up, man. We might be jumping on it one more time, man.
That's another episode.
That is another episode. That is another episode.
But another news thing on the music shit was J. Cole just released on
a cryptic
on the 4th
cryptic picture
that he is dropping an album. He released a tweet or whatever you want to consider it on the 4th of May. That on, I guess it's the 14th maybe. Yeah, the 14th is whenever he's dropping his album. So what I think from the TDE thing is happening, I think Kendrick's dropping an album, which will be, you know, available today since this podcast stream is dropping on Friday. And I believe next Friday we'll hear the J. Cole album.
And there was rumors that they were talking about a back-to-back album drop by both of them guys.
Yeah, but that's all just the internet.
Of course,
she say bullshit.
You know, but a lot of that stuff piques interest, man. So we gotta touch on some of that.
You know what I want to drop though is the fucking Kendrick and J. Cole project. That shit was clear COVID.
Actually, yes, that's actually one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, man. Like I said, I'm more of an old hip hop head, man. I don't really kind of get into like a lot of this new stuff, but I respect and I like the things that I hear, you know, when it comes to some of these rappers, man. I was a little bit late on J. Cole, I'm not gonna lie. J. Cole, by far, probably is one of my favorite rappers right now. Just because his style, what he talks about, how he hits it, man, his delivery. I think he's one of the great rappers out here right now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I think Kendrick's also way up there as well. But a collab with both of these, man.
A full album?
Yeah, the full album. And I'm not talking about, Kendrick rapping on J. Cole's beat and vice versa. I'm talking about, man, them collabing on the entire album together.
That would cure COVID. Because that shit would be so sick.
Mask off?
Mask off. No more masks.
I'm telling you, man, I think that would send shockwaves through the hip hop industry. But then again, man, I really don't think something like that would change a generation that's already kind of moved past this lyrical kind of rap.
I think it's coming back though.
I mean, I don't think it ever left.
Obviously it didn't leave.
Yeah, it didn't leave. It just kind of got pushed to the back burner a little bit and let all this, more
snitch nine. Motherfuckers backing them and shit.
Oh my god!
I ain't even gonna speak on it.
Snitch 9, never in the building over here. But I don't think it ever left, man. I think lyrical rap has always been around. It's just the type of generation, the type of followings that a lot of these other artists get that are nowhere near the level as these other guys. And I mean, I could be speaking on me just being an old head, man, because a lot of these new rappers right now, man, they say the same shit, things like this, overweight all the way through. Yeah, man, there's people that sound like other artists,
Yeah.
and they still making money, and it's nuts, man. It's crazy. But I guess that's the way, the generation is now. And it's funny because I always made fun of rappers that just keep saying the same shit throughout the whole entire song.
Who? Mike Jones.
But yeah, like and you mentioned Mike Jones. That's like from a time when I was coming up, or I was already, older a little bit. But, I listened to 3 6 Mafia back in the day, things like this. And man, a lot of them songs, they do repeat over and over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't scared, what? You ain't scared. All that shit, man. It's the same shit over and over. But the difference is, man, they started that. They were the ones that kind of just hit it and ran, This new stuff, man, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm ever going to get into it. I do like some stuff, man. But
the new shit, though, I mean, like, I sent you that song with Joyner Lucas and Lil Baby.
Yeah.
Lil Baby, boy, that motherfucker,
he surprised me,
he's coming with some shit.
Yeah, he surprised me on that one, man.
I'm kind of wanting to check out his albums. I just don't want to be disappointed. I mean, sometimes he mumbles and shit like that, but he's been coming with it because he did a song with Drake not too long ago too, and he fucking went in on that shit.
And he might be that one rapper that's like on that borderline. Like he's on that borderline. Like he's still part of this generation of rap that mumbles and mumble rap ton of generation, but he's still kind of trying to get away from that and get into like what old heads, what real hip hop, that's what this is. This is real hip hop talk. What we consider real hip hop. I think that's where he's at right now. I think he's trying to make his transition away from that other stuff because, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing on both sides. I think it's a good thing for lyrical rap. These guys that really don't get the same looks as these other guys just because they don't have the flashy song, but their lyrics are just phenomenal. I think he'll help and he'll benefit that side of hip hop just because it's like that crossover, man. He'll bring a lot of them fans, them new type of fans over to the more lyrical side.
Yeah.
Like Joyner, man. Joyner's a great lyric artist. I think he does.
He's
great
storytelling.
Absolutely, man. He is, man. But with the body of work, real quick, man. With the body of work of K. Dot and J. Cole, where do you think they rank, man, on this all-time great list?
I got Kendrick as number 6.
I know it's not done yet. I know there's a lot of body work. Hopefully, there's a lot of body work left. But so you got J. Cole.
I got Kendrick at number 6.
Okay. And what do you see? And we could talk about your top 5, man.
That's another.
It's another day. And I'm pretty sure it's.
I could give it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's
give it
Eminem, Pac, Biggie, Nas, and The Game.
All right, I got everybody, not in any order. No disrespect to Game, but I know Game's one of your favorite artists. But one of my favorite artists is Meth. Mr. Method Man, Wu-Tang Clan. Shout out.
H-O-D.
I think he's up there.
Yeah,
I think he's in my top 5. But like I said, that's no disrespect to Game. I like Game. I like what he's done. I like what the work he's put in. But where do you put J. Cole, real quick?
I'll probably put him at right after Kendrick.
So you got him top 10 for sure. Top 7.
Yes. Right now, yeah.
I agree, man. I think he's top 10. But like I said, kind of getting a little pressed for time, man. We got some stuff to go over.
Oh, we ain't got no time limit. We can keep going. It don't matter.
got the little buzz going. He's going. Go ahead.
Nah, I ain't buzzing. We can keep talking.
But like I said, if you want to kind of go into a top 10, we can. I really wanted to kind of go into the NFL draft. It just happened this last week.
Hold on, before you do that, let me ask you, is Jay-Z in your top 10? Remember, people gonna kill you over this if you don't put him in as number 1.
Okay, no, he's definitely not top 5 to me.
Is he top 10?
That's hard. It's hard only because really I don't really like his rhymes. I really don't like his style, but I give respect.
Is generic.
Now
Mine's authentic.
I know I know there was some internet beef you were going with, we were going through when it came to that question when somebody said, if you respect his money making abilities, that's one thing. But if you want to say that he's one of the best rappers ever, that's another. And again, I agree. Entrepreneur type guy, man. Oh, dude, he's great.
Yeah, I look to him to get money.
Yeah,
that's about it.
absolutely.
I mean, his songs to me are.
Just ether. That's all I'm
ether.
saying. Ether.
No. Even though it's not all true, but ether.
And that's also one other thing that we're gonna eventually talk about on this podcast, man. And that's another thing, man. If you want us to talk about certain things, man, hit us up on social media, TikTok, whatever, man, Facebook, Instagram. Let us know, man, if you really want to talk, have us talk about something. Diss songs, man. That was another topic that came up recently, and that me and you had to talk about. And it's hard, man. It's really, really hard. And that's a whole other segment.
We could come up with our top five, and then bring it on one episode. I'll come up with my top five. You come up with your top five.
We can do that. And any listeners out there, if y'all want to do that, if y'all want to kind of, compare lists or whatever, that's fine. We can do that. We can. That's like I said. We're gonna try to post. I'm gonna try to post and a question every week, kind of like some extra added kind of segment. Some interesting topic that we can talk about. This week was, will Canelo ever be, the greatest fighter of all time?
He'll be one of the greatest fighters.
Of course, I also think he will be one of the greatest.
I think he'll be the best Mexican boxer of all time.
That statement right there will anger so many Mexicans.
Fuck.
So many Mexicans.
I'm here for it, goddammit.
So many boxer fans, because man, you talking about.
I mean, if you think about Chavez, they say Chavez. I mean, I guess people don't consider De La Hoya Mexican
because he's Mexican American.
Yeah,
okay.
So I guess we could scratch him.
So Mexican-born fighters.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, people were like, if you look at Chavez's record, he fought a bunch of nobodies.
And see, again.
But I wasn't around that time to see who he fought, so
right.
I can't really speak on his type shit.
No, I'm gonna tell you, and now of course he's a little bit before my time as well. But I did see him fight in his prime. I did see, of course, him fight De La Hoya live, and things like this. And I'm gonna tell you, man, Julio Cesar Chavez Senior. I'm gonna put the emphasis on senior, not the junior, but the senior, man. He fought a lot of guys in Mexico. He fought anybody and everybody that was gonna fight.
They could have a losing record.
They could have been losing, but see that doesn't. You can't really take that away from.
Fuck yeah, you can.
No, because
why not? Because
back then he was Mexican. Like he was fighting in Mexico all the time.
He was Mexican.
Well, of course,
like he's not Mexican no more.
Like a Sammy Sosa type guy.
That motherfucker.
But
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like what I'm saying, he was Mexican. He was Mexican fighting in Mexico. Like that was his job in Mexico. Was fighting. That was his way to come up. Then he started getting noticed in American fighting, American boxing, and that's when he made the crossover into America. So he fought. He put in. If you're talking about putting in work, he put work in Mexico. He put in that work. Now, of course, a lot of that stuff came with subpar fighters, absolutely. But you still can't deny how great Julio Cesar Chavez was. If you want to debate on his record, that's one thing, as far as his undefeated streak or whatever it was. But you can't deny that man was a great.
But if Canelo would have stayed in Mexico, I'm sure he could have probably beaten that record.
Okay, and again, we're going to kind of go into something that's, you're talking about generational gaps and things like this. Things change over the time. Like back then, it was hard for Mexican fighters to kind of come over and fight in America. Where now it's a lot easier. Actually, they go and try to find the next great Mexican fighter. Yeah. So it would have been tough for Canelo, and it definitely would have counted against Canelo if he would have stayed in Mexico fighting all these other fighters, knowing that he has every opportunity to come to America and fight better fighters.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Canelo's still number one. So.
But see, I just, if we want to talk about greatest fighters of
We
all
don't talk
time,
about practice.
but if we want to talk about greatest fighters of all time, man, I think he's up there. I put him top 10. I don't even put him top 5.
Who?
Canelo. And that's only because, man, I grew up in a generation where we had some great,
There's a lot of
great fighters, especially in them 3 divisions, man. That junior middleweight, you know, them divisions, man. You talking about, you know, Tommy Hearns. You're talking about, you know, Roberto Duran.
See, I wasn't around during their time, but obviously I've watched their fights.
Rest in peace, Marvin Hagler.
Yeah, I've watched their fights on YouTube, so I mean, them motherfuckers used to go at
Bro,
it.
Man, I'm telling you.
It's like they didn't feel this shit whenever they were getting hit.
Oh, dude, man, I'm telling you, man, the Hagler Hearns rivalry.
Yeah,
that
was good.
Yes, the Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns. Man, that was another one, man.
We're gonna have to do this on
I'm
another
telling you,
episode.
that's also another whole episode, because if you want to talk about old great stuff, man, I mean, there's great. Like, whenever I was just completely took by boxing, it has to be the Gotti Ward trilogy, man. Them fights were amazing. As a kid growing up, you know, I saw that and I was like, man.
They counted Ward out, not Ward. Gotti out, because he was already pretty much on his last leg.
Yeah, and then, man, he came and that was one of the greatest trilogy fights and rivalries I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, man, that's a whole nother segment, man. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a full episode.
That is another full episode.
What's next?
All right, let's go into the NFL draft just happened. A lot of shocking picks, man. A lot of shocking picks. Some major trades went down in the pick. There was a lot of rumors, Aaron Rodgers rumors. Is he not going to leave Green Bay? That's still debatable. It's still up. Hell, by the time this thing airs, he might not even be a Packer anymore, but we'll get to that. You know, we'll get to that later.
Who do you think he goes to if he doesn't stay with the Packers?
The rumblings, it's kind of hard to tell.
The rumblings of rumbling mind?
Rambling. Yeah. But, yeah, man, I mean, the rumors go is Denver's it. I mean, he has...
Didn't they pick up a quarterback? They picked up Teddy Bridgewater. Come on now.
Who? They picked up Teddy Bridgewater.
He's a good backup.
Exactly. And that's a backup, man. And that's pretty much...
I think that'll be a good fit for him, because obviously he's played in the snow before in... where is he from? Wisconsin?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then obviously he could play in the snow in Denver. So
yeah.
I think that'll be a perfect fit for him.
I mean, it's one of his top destinations. Also, Vegas Raiders were one, and the Niners were the other. Niners did pick up quarterback. They picked up Trey Lance in the draft, and because they picked up Trey Lance, I think that's one of my busts. I just don't have. And again, I don't have faith in Trey Lance, only because he only played 17 games in collegiate career. Of course, he only threw 1 pick in them 17 games, but he also played in Division II school. So I didn't even put him in my top 5. So this segment right now is going to be a top 5 NFL draft game changers. I'll go ahead and throw out my 5 first, and then you can kind of hit me with yours.
I don't have my top 5.
Of course you don't. Well,
the reason why I don't have my top 5 is because I don't watch college football like that, which I need to start, because, you know, just to be on the up and coming.
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, this year in college football was kind of hectic, man. It was kind of crazy just because there was a lot of opt-outs. Yeah. So a lot of the people in the draft didn't participate this last year, so it was kind of tough. You had to kind of watch it. You had to kind of be really a fan of college football in order to understand what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and give my top 5, and then you can kind of give me what you think of, you know, whatever pick or whatever thing or whatever team you think is going to actually make an impact this year. At number 5, man, I think Zach Wilson for the Jets. I think that overall, I don't think the Jets are going to be any kind of significant change, but I do think, you know, he has a pretty good receiving core, and he has some pretty good linemen, man, to protect him. But, you know, Denzel Mims, you know, Jamison Crowder. They just picked up Elijah Moore also. Corey Davis. I mean, he got some help. You know, we'll see. I think as far as his stats, his accuracy, his skill level. I mean, he looks like a little baby, man. He looks really, really young.
Little baby.
Yeah, a little baby. But I think Zach Wilson, man, I think he's a sleeper. I think he's going to make an impact for the Jets. I don't know how big of an impact he will make for the Jets, but I do think he will make an impact. And I think maybe that's going to be the quarterback. This will be the quarterback that turns him around, man, honestly. I think his skill level's, high. This next one, it is not biased. I'm telling you, it is not biased, but I am going to go with Micah Parsons. The only reason why I'm going to go with Micah Parsons to the Cowboys is because I think it'll help the defensive, side of that ball, that team, tremendously. I think it will. Speaking on Dallas, that's a whole nother segment again as far as like what the team's going to do.
We're getting a Super Bowl, baby.
And I'm glad you actually mentioned that because I think if everything goes well with our offensive line, with Dak, I think if Dak's healthy 100%, we have the offensive weapons. If our defense, of course, I think we might need a couple of more moves.
Did you see they were talking about trading Antoine Woods?
They actually released Antoine Woods.
That's what it was.
Yeah, they actually just released Antoine Woods on Wednesday. So, yeah, they actually cut 6 other players. But like I said, it's all cap casualty kind of things, man. But I do truly think that Micah Parsons is going to be a game changer for the Cowboys, only because he can play multiple positions. He can play on the defensive end. He can rush the passer. He plays good in the passing game. I think he's going to be a ball hawk, man. Honestly, I think he's going to go after the runner. Like he said, man, I see ball, I go get ball. You know what I'm saying? I go to ball. Just like with Bobby Boucher. That's what he said. But, yeah.
But Mama said.
Mama said. But, yeah, I think number 3 will be Trevor Lawrence. I think sky's the limit for Trevor Lawrence.
I think to Jacksonville.
I think that is it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. I do think that maybe he will. I think they're going to have the biggest turnaround. Trevor Lawrence and DJ Chark, man, that's going to be a crazy kind of connection, man.
That's going to be my first pick of the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the first pick of the draft, man. I think he's
got to keep it rolling.
Philip Dorsett, Marvin Jones on that wide receiver core. I think he's gonna do big moves. Number 2, Kyle Pitts, man, to the Falcons. That offense is already loaded with Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones.
Is Julio Jones still a threat though?
Julio Jones is always gonna be a threat, just like Calvin Johnson is always a threat, man.
I don't know, because Julio Jones wasn't doing shit.
Well, it all depends on that offensive line, honestly, man. Like, Matt Ryan gets pressured a lot, but I think Kyle Pitts, man, he's one of the. I think he's gonna be one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game, honestly. But moving on to my number 1, man, Jamar Chase, man, I think him and Burrow. I think the only thing that's gonna kind of hinder that connection, man, is that offensive line. But they got Tyler Boyd, man.
Yeah, he did
T.
good
Higgins. Yeah, man. So I think
who
Jamar
did
Chase.
AJ Green go with? Didn't he get traded? Or whatever?
I don't know. I think he did get traded. If not, he's a free agent. I'm not really sure.
Did he go to Arizona? I feel like everybody's going to Arizona.
If he went to Arizona, he might have. Man, honestly, it's something that I was just really completely 100% focused on this draft, man. Honestly, so. But I do think that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, I think that's going to be a crazy lineup. I think it's going to be a crazy connection. I think they're gonna do big things for Cincinnati, barring any kind of major injury or major setback for Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a great quarterback. I think he's going to be the next Andrew Luck on that type of level where he's going to be somewhere that, he's a young and up-and-coming quarterback, but he's going to be up there with the elites. Hopefully this injury doesn't kind of hinder him from getting to that next level because the retirement definitely prevented Andrew Luck from getting to that level.
So AJ Green did go to Arizona after all.
God, man, just imagine, dude.
They got D-Hop. I ain't seen Green do shit in a minute, so I ain't even.
Then again, who's the quarterback though? I mean, well, besides Burrow, but I mean Burrow got hurt, but
I don't know how to respond to that.
Damn, all right, serious.
nobody talking to you, bitch. But man, yeah. So I mean, besides the Cowboys, man, who do you think's going to be a team that's going to be somebody to wreck with?
Obviously, Kansas City.
Of course. Always got.
I think Arizona might do something.
I'm not really high on Kyler Murray. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's
gonna have a good year.
I mean, I hope he does, man, because that team's stacked. I hope he does. He's in our division. He's in our conference, man.
I think the Houston Oilers will do good.
Dude, the Houston Oilers will kick ass. They're gonna kick ass, boy.
What do you think? Do you think Derrick Henry will have another good year?
I do not. But I'm gonna tell you, man, we're actually gonna come up with a fantasy draft, kind of like a preview show. We're gonna cover all, pretty much a fantasy draft.
For the fans out there, I got first pick, so who would y'all pick? I'm kind of stuck on the fence about it. I want to hear y'all's opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling him to stay away from running backs, man. I don't think there's any running back right now that should be a number one overall pick.
Well, and if anybody that's listening that's playing fantasy with me, we could switch spots. You just got to pay for my place, and then that's it.
I pick last, but I'm still gonna win that thing, man. So.
That's like Billy Joe Saunders saying he gonna win on Saturday.
Oh my God! The thing is you ain't Canelo though. That's the thing. That's the whole difference right there.
Gee, you ain't seen me in the gym.
Nah, but yeah, man, we're gonna do a whole fantasy football show. We'll just stay with our social media. Stay up to date at Rambling Mob. We're gonna be dropping all kinds of content.
And that's without the G. It's Ramblin'.
Yes, Ramblin'.
Like the hood
slang. We from the South. We put some slang on when we talk. You hear me?
Days is big.
Yeah, but before we end this segment, man, I got one real quick thing to go over really quickly, man. And that's playoffs in the NBA are right around the corner. Of course, there's NHL hockey as well. I will go over that in another episode.
He'll talk about hockey by himself.
Yeah,
because
Or
you know what? I could ask Thavo about hockey because he wants.
Absolutely, man. We probably get Thavo on if he wants to come on. But
fuck Thavo.
You heard him. But the West playoff race, man, it's thick. The top 4 seeds, man, they're pretty much locked up. I'm more worried about the bottom half, the play-in series in the West. We'll cover the East another time, but right now it's going to be the West because my man right here, Brian, and I'm a Mavericks fan, diehard to death, born and raised here, and DFW, man, I'm diehard Mavericks. He ain't born in San Antonio, but he a Spurs fan.
My dad was born in San Antonio.
I don't care. What up, man? But Spurs right now are currently sitting at number 10. That is the last spot in the playoff series, or this playoff tournament, and that'll be 7 through 10.
Who's that number 7?
Number 7 it's actually a 3-way tie, man. 5, 6, and 7 are pretty much a 3-way tie between Mavericks, Blazers, and Lakers. They're 10 games behind the number 1 seed, so they're pretty much locked in to that. That's going to be kind of an interchanging kind of 3-team that's going to kind of go to the very end. Mm-hmm. Who's going to end up being 7th seed? Who's going to be the 5th? Who's going to be the 6th?
So who's going out first?
Absolutely.
So the Mavericks getting out round 1.
Right now, funny, man, when you put it right now, I think right now Mavericks are 5th. They'll play the 4 seed, which is Denver. And I think Denver right now, that's
I thought
the
Lakers
best
were
matchup.
the 4 seed.
No, Lakers are 7. They're currently right now. It's a 3-way tie, but I think they're 7.
I hope them motherfuckers get out first round. Goddamn.
But right now the Mavericks are 5th, and they will be playing Denver if it ended today, which it obviously isn't ending today. So,
well, let me say this: I want the Lakers and the Nets to get out in the first round of the playoffs, just because I'm tired of the whole fucking super team
bullshit. Absolutely, man. I completely agree. I think it's killing sports. I think it's killing the NBA in particular. You know, I don't see how people think. You know, like again, I'm an old school guy, man, and back in the day, you'll never ever see competitors play on the same team until they got, past their prime or whatever. In their prime, NBA All-Stars never teamed up back then. Never teamed up. Were they assembled on the same team at sometimes? Before they hit that All-Star, stardom level? Absolutely.
Well, a team that you could say that didn't do that before the other player went was Golden State. They just drafted really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until KD went over there because he's a little bitch.
And I mean, they were forced to be reckoned with even before KD.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think LeBron definitely started it off.
Well, they say Boston started it off with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett.
And I get that, but man, they gave up their entire future to make that happen.
And their future is actually pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I'm sorry. I mentioned I was talking about Brooklyn. Brooklyn gave up their entire future to try to get that spark that Celtics had with them three, and they failed miserably. I'm actually glad that I'm actually glad that trio actually met up. They all deserved the title. It was kind of like the same thing back in the day when Drexler was already with Houston, but when Charles Barkley went over to Houston, and they tried to win the title after the 90s or the 90s championship that Houston had. They teamed up with Olajuwon and Drexler, and that was a great team. I thought that was going to be a team to be reckoned with, and they actually lost. They never made it. They never made it to the championship. Or they never won the championship. But there was always teams like that before. But you can consider them a little probably past their prime. Barkley went from the Sixers to the Suns, and he was in the end of his prime. Or he was in this prime, going to the end of his prime when he was with Phoenix.
30 points, 50 points.
Yeah. Basketball circle like a rim, like a donut. But no, if you want to talk about the super team debate, man, there was things happening back then, but it was never
as bad as it is now.
As bad as it is now, and it was never at the prime levels.
And LeBron's still keeping it going, because without AD, that motherfucker would have never won.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you. You just watch out for LA, not in a good way. I truly think these injuries are gonna stack up and pile up, and it's gonna probably be an early exit for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I hope they go out in the first round.
The West is very, very top heavy, man. Them top teams up there on the top, man, they're heavy. The number 4 seed currently right now is Denver Nuggets. They are they will play Mavericks if it ended today, which it's not. But I think that's a good matchup for Dallas. But Dallas, Portland, and Los Angeles Lakers are currently tied for that 5th spot, which exceeds to the 7th spot, which is the start of that play-in series. So that's a race that you can look forward to. Them 3 teams there. Number 8 is Memphis Grizzlies. They're 32-31. Number 9 is the Golden State Warriors at 32-32. Number 10 is the San Antonio Spurs at 31-32. 11 is the Pelicans at 29-35, and the Kings are at 12 with 27-37. I'm only putting the Pelicans and Kings there. They're a little bit behind. They are kind of running out of time, but this thing's all about streaks, man. The Sacramento Kings are playing really, really good right now. They're playing good against top quality teams. They're a bad matchup for the Mavericks, I can tell you that, just by watching the Mavericks all the time. We can hardly ever beat the Kings. But right now, as it sits, the Spurs hold the spot for last in this play-in series. They're about 2.5 to 3 games above the Pelicans, who are sitting at 11. Do you think the San Antonio Spurs will hold that 10 spot and play and get into the play-in series for a chance to play in the playoffs?
No, we done.
Come on, man.
We done.
Team, bro. They are done.
I have faith in my team, but we done.
Man,
I think Popovich needs to go ahead and retire. He's because they're blaming the losses on him. It's not on him. He's not out there playing. It's the players.
Absolutely.
And Popovich, I mean, fuck, he's done enough. He's one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach of all time.
Y'all got some restricted, probably unrestricted free agents, but y'all got some free agents coming up, like DeMar DeRozan. Are you upset that they didn't make any kind of trade for him?
Yes.
Before they, end up probably losing him to free agency.
Well, DeMar DeRozan, he's good, but he's not that good, so I don't think we could have gotten much.
But you would have got something.
Yeah.
Instead of just having him leave. I mean, he's not a scrub. I think he's definitely a role player at this point in his career. He's definitely a role player. He's not the same DeMar DeRozan you saw in Toronto with Lowry. But I truly think that San Antonio will hold on to this spot. Murray's playing outstanding.
It don't matter because we need to be in the 8th spot if we want to get into the motherfucking playoff.
No, that's the thing. 7, 8, 9, and 10, they have a one-game series or one game with each other. I think 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9. The winner will take the 8th spot. That's something
so
that
we need to get in there.
Yeah, but at the number 10 spot, you actually have a chance at the end of the year to be in the playoffs as long as you win that one-game series.
Yeah.
That 2-game series that you're gonna. It's like a little mini tournament, a 14 tournament. The only problem is who that 7th seed is gonna be. Currently, right now, it looks like Memphis Warriors and probably San Antonio is gonna be the three seeds in that. That's 8, 9, and 10. 7th seed could be the Mavericks, Blazers, or Lakers. If it does go down to that, and let's say Mavericks fall down, which I doubt it. They're playing hot. They're a hot team right now. If they drop to 7, do you see? First of all, I would love to go to this game, the Mavericks. This little playoff game, little play-in game against the Mavericks and Spurs. One game to try to see if you can get into this playoffs. But do you see any matchup that if the Spurs play, they stay at number 10, and between them 3 teams, Mavericks, Blazers, or Lakers, do you see one of them teams being a good matchup for the Spurs? Because right now, as we sit, like I said, the Spurs, they almost have this 10 spot locked down.
I'll tell you, if we play the Mavericks, we beat them. Fuck the Mavericks.
Boy, see, that's that bias shit we're talking about. They ain't not going to be the Mavericks.
Luka's the only good player on the Mavericks. Ain't nobody else good.
Boy, you crazy.
I know you ain't talking about Porzingis.
No, we ain't talking about Porzingis. They actually won 5 of 6 without Porzingis.
That boy trash. Luka, he's all right.
Man, Luka's, generational talent right there.
He's all right.
He's
all right. He's good.
But honestly, man, Mavericks, Lakers, Blazers, who do you think is a good matchup for the Spurs if they stay currently at 10?
I think the Blazers will be a good matchup. If we could win, I think we could beat the Blazers. Maybe.
Even with all the injuries that the Lakers are going through right now, I mean.
Yeah, because you never know. LeBron could easily come back and be like, you know what? I'm not hurt no more. I'm not cramping anymore.
Honestly, man, I don't know, man. I think at this point in time in his career, this is not. It's different this year. Of course, COVID changes everything. The time of the year that they're playing these games and things like this. They just came off a championship, for some fatigue setting in. He was off for, oh my God, I don't know, like a month and a half, something like that, 6, 7, 8 weeks, some crazy shit like that. But I don't think you're gonna see that dominating LeBron James this year in the playoffs as you've seen in past years, only because of that fact that they don't have that much time, and they only have about 5, 6, 7 games left currently right now, and they're struggling to try to stay above and stay afloat that 7th seed. in that playing tournament. If they go into that playing tournament the way that it is now, I mean, injury, and with all these injuries that they're facing, man, they might not even make the playoffs this year.
I hope they don't. You know how many fucking mad Lakers fans that would be out there?
Oh man, how many mad LeBron fans?
I forgot
the bandwagon fans.
The Laker Nation all of a sudden.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I truly think that the Lakers are in trouble, man. I think they're in a downward spiral. I mean, of course, they're dangerous.
You don't think Anthony Davis could carry the team?
No. Not to a title.
No.
Absolutely not to a title. Just because, like I said, the top 4 teams are heavy. Like you're talking about Utah, you're talking about Phoenix, the Clippers. Of course, I don't like the Clippers, but I think the Clippers are still a great team. And then you got the Denver Nuggets. I think
Murray's out though.
Murray is out, and I think that's why the Mavericks will be a great matchup out of the top 4 seeds. And if they stay at 5, I think that's the spot they definitely need to stay in if they want a chance to try to make it past the first round. Just because them top 3 teams, they're heavy, man. I'm not gonna lie. My team's the Mavericks. I'm always gonna root for the Mavericks as long as the Mavericks are in there. I'm gonna be rooting for them. But man, I want to truly see what Phoenix does.
Yeah.
I think Phoenix is a great, great young team.
The way they played in the bubble last year, too.
Oh, my God, man. And then they add Chris Paul to it, to that mix, man. And I think I think that team is going to be great. I think that's a team to watch out for. Of course, you got Utah with Spider and with Gobert. I think they're also a great team. And then, of course, you can't count out Kawhi and the Clippers.
I wish Kawhi never left the Spurs.
Yeah, just wishful thinking, buddy. But yeah, man, I'm pretty sure. I think that's gonna wrap it up today, man.
Wrap that shit up, B. We should put that shit right.
We should, man. We should go ahead and program that shit in and play it. But again, man, this is a great time. This is a great conversation. If you want to hear more, want to hear different things, man, just hit us up. All the podcasts. Actually, speaking of the podcast, man, where can they find this at, man, for the future?
They'll be able to find it on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and hopefully iHeartRadio. Not too sure about that. But also, I'm going to be posting it on YouTube. Hopefully the audio is good for the camera. If not, then we'll figure it out. And then we'll just post the audio on there for now, but we'll get it going. But make sure you stay up to date with everything. Follow us on not all social medias, on Instagram and TikTok at Ramblin' Mob.
Yeah, not Ramblin' Marb. Fuck that bitch Marb. But no.
Ramblin' Mob.
Absolutely.
RAMBLINMOB.
Yeah, also follow us on, TikTok and things like that, man. If you were interested in, putting questions out there, man, hearing us talk about certain things, man, don't be afraid to, kind of leave messages and things like this, man. It's the first episode. We know it's going to be a slow transaction, man. We're going to try to get this and hit the ground running.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned with, all the content that we're coming up with. Man, just be prepared, man. I think this is going to be a great, great, great show. Just kind of stick with us, man. Kind of, hang out with us, listen to what we have to say. If you disagree, let us know. If you agree, let us know. But man, I really appreciate y'all, tuning in, checking us out. Stay tuned for more to come. We got a lot of content coming out, man. We got tons and tons and tons of stuff to talk about. Special guests, if you want to be interested in being a special guest, if you want to just come around and fuck around and talk around, we can. This ain't no sponsored show. This ain't...
Not yet.
Absolutely not yet. We're not on any kind of production team where we got to follow orders or anything like that, man. We straight, like they used to say, man, we underground. This is underground podcast over here.
Plus, we don't follow no goddamn rules. Fuck you mean?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Break all the motherfucking rules possible. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, if you're interested in it, if you want to join it, man, we have an extra spot. Come on, man. Come holler at us. Stay tuned. It's going down, man. It's all I'm gonna leave it like that. It's all I gotta say.
And that's it.
You heard?
See y'all next week.
Go Canelo.